Hey, welcome back to lesson 4. Right, we have lots more to cover to do with face features. We're going to start off with the nose. I'll probably resculpt it a little bit later as well, but I'll show you roughly where you'd put the holes in, hopefully to make it look good. So I'm just using the draw sharp just to push it in. So just holding control and just pushing it in up the nostrils, and then just like smoothing it down. So this is normally I think this is the easiest face feature to actually play about with compared to the eyes and the mouth and the ears. There's a lot of trickiness to it, trying to get the avatar to look like a female or a male. I mean, depends what you're going for. So I'm just trying to give it the upper lip. Probably getting a bit too ahead of myself here. Probably should be doing the lips first before doing the ridge bit above the lips. So unfortunately I lost a bit of my recording files. It was corrupted a little bit. But what I did to get the lips was I used a little bit of the inflate tool, and I used a bit of the grab brush and the draw sharp. So just them three tools and pulling out the lips, making the incision in the mouth, and then trying to bring it out. Now I'm trying to keep the M shape on the upper bit of the lip. I did notice when I made this the lips were a little bit too lower down, so what I think I would do would be to move them up with the grab brush, and then re-proportion the size again. It's definitely a lot of trial and error. There's different types of shapes of lips. Try and go off a reference image if you have one. I'm just going off by my own mind at the moment, just picturing it in your head and then just drawing it out straight away. This could take quite some time as an artist to develop these sort of skills. I mean, I'm no professional in creating and drawing, but 3D modeling, I find it much easier to do the 3D model than 2D art for some reason. But yeah, so we're just smoothing down the lips, just speed this up because it's a lot of time. I took a lot of time working on the lips, trying to get the proportion right. They look all sorts of different shapes and sizes. They look funny. Try to adjust it. It is literally just trial and error, just trying the best as you can do, making him look like a pair of lips. So I've tried not to leave any expression on the mouth, try and keep it as plain as simple, keep it as straight as I know later on I will more than likely create expressions for the avatar for other platforms like VRChat. So I'm just editing the nose a bit, just making sure the outline of the nose, making sure that it looks more like a nose. I might does look a bit thin and narrow in the center. Probably edit that, sculpt that out a little bit. So just trying to finish off the lips. It does take some time. Also, using the scrape tool does help. Just like flattens the specific edges on the surface, which does help a lot when for like the flat plane of the lips. And obviously using the draw sharp and holding control just a bit to push in the geometry. It's a great tool. I think that's one of my favorites actually. So cheekbones and the jawline. So what I've used here is pinch. As you can see, I've used the pinch, and I just wanted to use that and just sharpen out the edges of the jawline. I've seen other artists do this as well. It just gives it a nice render and a look. Say if we're going for some sort of a rendering animation look for the end, which this will make it look really good once we've added the textures and colouring onto the avatar. But this can be changed later on to fit better for modelling and animation. Okay, just smoothing down the neckline in the crease. It's a little bit too creased. I think I will just smooth it out a bit more so it don't look too creased. Sort of just going over the neck and the neck muscles. I've noticed over time after smoothing so much down I've lost most of the neck muscles, which I'll just have to reapply by using the clay stripes, which just running that over should just add some sort of muscle to the neck, just a little bit for a female, just making sure you're going for the same proportion using the V shape. So I've come back to the nose and I'm just using the scrape tool just to make it look a little bit more flat and not too round or not too thin, and then just probably just touching in the sides a little bit. Again, it's personal preference and what you believe is good for the nose and the outside of the eyes. Trying to make that nice curvature going from the nose on the outside around to the eyes. I was playing about here, just trying to get the eyes to line up. I don't know why I had a gap missing on the inside, but that's okay. I will deal with that later when I add the eyeballs. So I was just trial and error, just trying out some brushes, just trying to get that perfect as much as I can get. Getting the proportion right is difficult at times. So here I was just using the draw sharp tool, just trying to add in and bring out the mesh as much as possible. So we're going to bring in the eyeball now. So we want to press Shift A and bring in a sphere. We're going to press S to scale that down. Make sure you're in edit mode. Make sure you press Tab, select the object, make sure you're in edit mode, and you want to move the object in edit mode. If you press Alt Z, that also changes your view, so you can see through the head whilst you're moving the eyeball or the sphere. If you want to click the transform button, as you see, it does helps position the eye in the area you want when you're moving it along the X, Y and Z axes. And then when you're happy of placing the eye, press Alt Z and then you'll come out of X-ray mode. So replacing that eye into the socket, we're also going to add a couple of modifiers on that. That would be the subdivision surface modifier, and we also mirrored it so it goes over to the other side. Make sure that the origin point is in the center on 0, 0, 0 axes, otherwise you won't be able to mirror it exactly onto the other side. That's why we move it in edit mode, so we don't have to mess about with the positioning of the origin point. However, if you do have issues with it, don't worry. If you go to object mode and select the eyeball, press Ctrl A and you can reset transforms and then try the mirror modifier again, and then it will mirror on the X axis. So here I'm just drawing over the eyes, making sure the proportion is right. I spent a long time on this trying to get it right, trying to add in the upper bit of the eyelid and the lower bit of the eyelid. It's very small and quite challenging. I found this quite challenging. It's quite difficult as you're sculpting, and you don't want to make it too big or too small. It's very difficult, but again, just keep practicing, trial and error, keep using the grab tool. The grab tool smooth down with the draw sharp when you hold shift, and then you can just about manage to finish off the eyebrow, the upper lip and the lower lip. I'm forever pressing Control Z, that's to undo. Now I'm just drawing on some geometry, just filling in the little bits, and just make sure you smooth it down afterwards so you don't have any sort of lumpy bits. It's always good to smooth it down afterwards. If you need more geometry, you could inflate or grab or add more geometry using the draw tool. Sometimes when you're drawing in a small area, it draws on top of tiny polygons and creating lumps, but don't forget to just smooth them over. So the corner of the eye is a little bit tricky, just trying to get them in symmetrical, trying to smooth down the side of the face. When you're smoothing down, you have like these lines across the face, trying to smooth them down to the best as you can do. You can hold shift with the grab tool to smooth down, or you can have draw sharp and hold shift to smooth down. Okay, hopefully that is a lot to cover in this lesson, but hopefully I'll catch you in the next lesson.